In this one, I'm going to talk about two tanks that I've set up. The first one we're going to talk about is this one, and the second one we're going to talk about is this one. For those of you that don't know, I set up two planted tanks. One planted tank that was easy to run and one that was a little bit more of a challenge. The first one was this tank. This is a 4-foot tank. It's around about 260 litres if I'm right. I don't know what that is in gallons. I'm really rubbish at that kind of stuff. I think I get that wrong every time I do it. But what I did was I put a plant called Alodia densa in here. Now this plant is apparently a really easy beginner plant, a real easy plant to grow, and wow, is it. If you watch my video, which was about 2 weeks ago, I did an update on the dwarf cichlids in here, which are the Laticara araguaia, and I talked about an easy to grow plant. And if you remember that video and check out this plant now, you will realize and know that it's absolutely grown so much. And I haven't done anything. There is no planted substrate. There is no fertilizer. The only thing I have is this LED light on top, which is basically a cheap LED light off eBay. These plants they've doubled in size. Honestly, I mean, look at these two in the middle. I am going to have to start cutting them. I wanted to leave them for this video just to show you the absolute growth rate. Honestly, guys, I haven't added any fertilizer. There is no planted substrate. These have just grown with light, and I've had my lights on for about 8 hours a day. We've got a few fish in here. We've got these 8 dwarf cichlids. We've got some black neon tetras. We've got a couple of Oplo catfish. There's one right there. And we're feeding a good pellet. So these plants are absolutely thriving. Now, you may try this plant and it may not grow this quick. You might have to add some fertilizer. You might have to do other things. But for me, this plant is absolutely amazing. And the great thing about this plant as well is it eats your nitrates. And the good thing as well is you can cut it and put it in your other tanks as well. Being someone that's never really been good with plants, never really done planted tanks, this, for me, by starting to use this, which was great advice from Keith at Aquatics Fanatics UK, this has now got me into wanting more plants. Every other time that I've tried it, I've just thought, no, this is not for me. But this interested me. So I'm going to show you something else, which is a little bit different in the other tank that I told you we were going to talk about. We're going to go into the fish room to check the other tank out. Does anybody watch this channel? Steamthought Aquatics, cracking channel, one of my favourites. Go and check it out if you haven't. I'm just watching some videos on dwarfs. I mean, African dwarf cichlids, to be fair. But anyway, this is the other tank, the planted tank that is with a difference. This has got a planted substrate, and I've put a couple of different kinds of plants in here. Now, the interesting thing is, first off, is that plant there is absolutely thriving. That plant there, not so. So I need to work out what I'm doing, what's happening. Obviously, this is all very new to me. I am in talks with Keith, like I said, so he's helping me out. But for anyone that doesn't know, this tank was gifted to me by my next door neighbour. So he basically knocked on my door and said, do you want a free fish tank? It's an Oasis 85, so it's an 85 litre. I thought, well, actually, what a perfect opportunity to do a planted tank properly, if that makes sense. So it's great getting a plant like the Alodia densa and throwing it in and letting it grow, but sometimes you want to test yourself, and I wanted to test myself. So, like I said, trying to understand why this plant's not doing very well is the bit that I'm learning and I'm enjoying. And another thing, guys, I don't know the names of the plants. I forgot them. I will get better at that. But that plant there is thriving. It's grown so much. So, yeah, obviously down to nutrients, that kind of stuff. But like I said, I am in talks with Keith. He's helping me out. I do have this plant food here that was gifted to me by Premier Aquatics. It's a 1-week plant fertilizer. But anyway, what I will say, guys, I know people are going to jump in my comments and give me loads of advice, and I really appreciate it. The one thing that I have noticed about this, though, is planted tanks, everybody's telling me to do something differently. people are contradicting themselves. So that got me a little bit confused, if I'm honest with you. You know, like the Alodia densa in the other room, people telling me I needed to fertilise it, this, that and the other. Well, I didn't, and I haven't had to. So, you know, one thing that Keith advised me was seek advice like you are doing, and I'm only seeking it from Keith now, if I'm honest, but anybody wants to give me advice, that feel free, because this is something that's very new to me. But I am doing a lot of things where I'm trialing and error myself, if that makes sense, and I'm really enjoying it. There is actually a pair of checkerboard cichlids in here, but they're right in the corner under the sponge, so you're not going to get to see them, but I will add a little bit of a video on just so you know what they look like. They're very small. When I say a pair, I don't know if they're actual pair. There's a couple of them. You know, I got them from Finest Aquatics, and they said they felt like they were probably male and female, but I will probably have to put a couple more in here. Right now, this is about growing the plants. I want the plants to be successful. Probably going to put something in the middle there at the back as well. But this is a work in progress at the end of the day, and every day I am learning something new about planted tanks. So yeah, honestly, I'm really enjoying it. I really am. And I know having lots and lots of chats with Keith, I'm learning loads. He absolutely knows his stuff. So pardon the pun, I am growing and I'm enjoying it. I am really enjoying it, guys. And you know what? It's something new. I think that the Central American cichlids, they're getting to a point where they're making me not enjoy the hobby due to different things like aggression, trying to kill each other, all those things, but that's for another video. Tell me what you think in the comments about the Alodia densa. Honestly, have you kept it? Has it been as good for you? Also, you know, to anybody who's thinking of doing planted tanks and they've never done it, listen, there's loads of videos out there on the high-tech stuff and people just, you know, like Patty, like Keith, all those people who are just smashing it. But if you're new to it, this is a great plant to get you in the mood. It's certainly got me in the mood. And obviously with the other tank, if anyone knows what that plant on the left is and can give me any advice. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I appreciate everybody's support. It does mean a lot. And I'll see you all on the next one.